Hey everyone, Sirturmund here again. So today I'm bringing you guys some Pantheon action. Now, if you haven't seen this deck around yet, and it's been around now for like a few weeks now, the whole idea is that you're combining these two regions with equipment. So the Darkened Lodestone and the Bloodletters. The reason for that is because the equipment is a nice way to trigger the Pantheon level up, as well as a really nice way to trigger the Warlord's Horde or the Warlord's Palace as well, right? You'd be surprised just how quickly, as you see some of the games today, once you have a leveled up action on the field and you have at least two equipment in your hand, how easily you can actually trigger that Warlord's Horde because of the fact that you can actually replay the equipment every single turn, right? So let's say that you have two Bloodletters in your hand, right? Every single turn you can play one Bloodletter and then play the second Bloodletter on the same unit to bring this first Bloodletter back into your hand, and you're already doing advancing the landmark by 2. And you can do that every single turn until you trigger the Warlord's Palace or the Warlord's Sword. That's the synergy there with equipment and action. And obviously it works out really well as well, because that way you're able to trigger the Pantheon level up as well as the Fade from Pantheon or from your Saga Seeker really easily every single turn. So as you can tell, one of the key cards in this deck is going to be Bloodletters. And if you think, the other good thing about this is that whatever unit you put this on, when he dies, it just summons another unit in its place. So you end up being able to kind of go with a wide board that can attack the opponent and put a lot of pressure, allowing you to put them in such low health that then you can finish up with like a big Pantheon with the Overwhelm. Or later in the game, you can just play Sejuani, because even if she dies, she goes back into your hand as a Darkened Bloodletters. This equipment is the best equipment in the game, just because of how much value you can get from just playing Sejuani, playing the Darkened Troll, etc. over and over and over again. It's amazing. The rest of the deck is kind of just there to kind of provide support to Akshan and Pantheon and towards the win condition. So the Forsaken by Kai lets us predict into what we need, whether it's the Bloodletters, the Akshan, or a Pantheon. Adds a lot of consistency to the deck. Saga Seeker is a great target for the Bloodletters because obviously the Fade gets triggered and this unit becomes bigger and bigger. Shavestone just there to kind of push some extra damage. Bloodletters, talked enough about it. Akshan, amazing. You want to always keep them on turn 2 because you can level him up really quickly. And then at similar, you're able to trigger the Warlord's Sword very quickly, giving you the option to refill your hand or have spell shield in your Pantheon, etc. Mountain Goat, just a nice blocker and a nice way to get the gem to level up the Pantheon. Pale Cascade similarly lets you level up and draw. One Ruthless Predator. We don't have a ton of removal in this deck because we're not playing the Master, right? So Ruthless Predator kind of helps us get there together with Desert Duel and Grappling Hook. That's why we also play these cards, because the strikes end up working out really well with Akshan and Pantheon and lets us deal with the opponent's units. One Absorber, just in case that we need that extra push to get there. Lodestone is kind of playing the same role as the Bloodletters, although a little bit more expensive, but it can also be kind of nice because you get a lot of value buffing up your units bigger and bigger. You can get a pretty big action if you're able to buff in them multiple times. Merciless Hunter, just one off here, kind of some value there. One Quicksand to protect against elusives. Vagabond to synergize with the Palace and advance us even quicker. Shepherd, just so good because you can actually put the equipment on the Saga Seeker or the Pantheon, for example, and it works as a faded trigger, right? As well as advancing your landmark from Akshan. And if you high roll Scout on Pantheon, for example, it's pretty nice. Or even Overwhelm, so that you can put it on your Saga Seeker. It ends up being really, really nice. Obviously, Pantheon is one of the ways that we win the games. Dropping down when he's leveled up and just go from there. 2 Random Negations to protect ourselves. And then 1 Heatless Resurrection just to bring back a Pantheon or an Akshan if we need to in a pinch. Usually it's always better to bring Pantheons, right? So if the opponent is able to remove your Pantheon, you're able to bring him back, and we play enough equipment that this is always going to be triggered at 3. Now you will notice that we're not playing Wounded Whiteflame. Wounded Whiteflame can be a little bit too expensive for what this deck wants to do. Again, because you want to just be cycling those equipment every turn, so that is going to take you at least 2 mana, sometimes 3 mana to be able to cycle them. So no space here for the Wounded Whiteflame. I think Saga Seeker is enough to kind of get us there, and the other cards kind of serve as a win condition. This deck is really fun, and it actually feels really strong. So if you interested in trying this out, I really recommend it. I think it's good. It's good. I wouldn't say it's tier 1, but it's definitely good enough to kind of get anybody to Masters if you try high enough. So hope you enjoyed the games today. And if you like our content, please be sure to like the video below and subscribe to us. We post a lot of videos every single day. I'll see you at the end of the video for some mulligan tips. in this matchup, we'll be going up against Nami TF Lee Sin. So we're gonna be going up against Ionia, which could be a little bit weird. I think we kind of want to put a lot of pressure on them. I like the Bloodletters and the Bakai. I don't like the Shepherds. We want to get action early. We want to get action early, right? Or like our faded units. So the Bakai would allow me to actually predict into action potentially. Not an action. I was gonna pick the second Bakai though. We can play Bloodletters, or we can even play Lodestone instead. But it's probably better to play the Bloodletters, right? Because we can. Opponent wants to play for the double trouble. So by us playing the Bloodletters, okay, well, never mind. They're not gonna play for the double trouble. Who am I kidding? They're just gonna go ahead and play the Hookmaster. We can go here. Opponent's not gonna attack anyways, because if they attack, they just. Why are they attacking? I'm confused. Why are they attacking there? That's their Pantheon. I'm so confused. The double trouble is not even good for them anymore. I kind of like the Lodestone now. We go the Lodestone here. This is gonna buff the Darking Throw up. We can play the Bloodletters in the Bakai if we wanted to, depending on what the opponent has here. If they have a good enough blocker, then there's no reason to play it. Yeah, there's no reason to play it. We just go like this. Absolutely no reason to play it. Let's just push, because this is gonna die regardless. I guess the reason to play it is to get another Darking Troll on the field. I don't know if that's really that important, because I want to play the Bloodletters now with the Vagabond. So I wanted to save the Bloodletters for when we had the Vagabond on the field. Opponent's gonna try to go for the Twisted Fate level up then. We can also just play the second Lodestone here, if we wanted to. But opponent probably wants to play the Fisherwalk, or... We can actually just completely like swap out the equipment over and over again, by the way. So this is why this equipment is so good with the Warlord's Palace, because check this out. We can play the Lodestone next turn on the Vagabond, and then play the Bloodletters somewhere else again. Opponent's still not close to leveling up Nami, because they've been playing a lot of units, which tells me that they probably don't have the Nami in their hand. This is going to be 4 damage that we're going to take if the opponent takes it. Like if the opponent puts the equipment. The fact that they got the Overwhelm weapon though, it's going to be kind of troublesome once the opponent is able to level up Lee Sin. Oh, we get the action? That's awesome. I don't feel like playing action though until we actually have triggered everything else. I guess we can go here. We can go here, just transfer it over. I guess we should... Oh, come on. Okay, I was gonna play action, but now obviously playing action just means that we lose to... We're gonna just lose to the Lee Sin. So I'm just gonna play the Bloodletters. And just present a ton of damage this way. Because we have double Dark and Lodestone, right? Just present a ton of damage this way. What could they have with 3 mana? The only thing that punishes us is going to be Wuju style. So the Wuju style can be really annoying to deal with here. Okay, Heavy Metal, destroy the equipment. And then the opponent will have access to kill this with the Lee Sin. So I guess we go like this then, right? Let them kill this, but then they're taking 19. Oh, they're just gonna give us Twisted Fate? Okay. I'm okay with killing a Twisted Fate too. The only downside here is that we don't have a way to level up the Pantheon anymore because we ended up using up the Tart. Okay, well, we get the Pell Cascade. That's kind of nice. Oh, nice. They get Nami. I think we go ahead for the action. We go ahead for the action. Action's gonna level up regardless. So even if the opponent can kill our action with the Lee Sin, I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm completely okay with that. Question is, do we level up the Pantheon now, or do we just draw? Okay, Double Trouble is so bad, because Double Trouble is giving them blockers now. So Double Trouble is actually pretty bad, because that gives them the blockers that the opponent desperately needed. Rider Negation seems kind of nice. With us having Pantheon on the field? Beats the Homecoming? Grappling Hook can potentially beat the lead. Like, the problem is that the opponent got the 1-off lead that they needed. I like the Battle Negation. It makes me feel safer. Makes me feel safer. Opponent's gonna have to pull. Wait, but if they pull, they're not really... That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. I'm gonna do this now so that we can get the draw. So I'm gonna do this right now so that we can get the draw. We can trigger this Pantheon with the Shape Stone, which I don't dislike, while also having Battle Negation mana. That will give us 6 keywords, which is better than most things that we're gonna get. We could also just play him and have the Faded trigger. I think we just play him with 5 keywords. I think I'd rather put the Shapestone on the Pantheon rather than anything else that I have, because I don't have Overwhelm anywhere else, right? So I don't have Overwhelm anywhere else. We get Fearsome and we get Challenger. So the Fearsome means that I guess opponent does, because opponent can always just buff these units. But the Challenger gets us there, right? So we get the Challenger and even Impact as well and Quick Attack. The Lee Sin is a little bit annoying, but it's not a big deal. We can buff it up with the Lodestone, right? So we can go like this. Now, the opponent doesn't have a leveled up Nami, so no matter which one we try, no matter which one we go after, it's still gonna be the same, right? I'm just gonna go for the Overwhelm, and then we're gonna have access to Battle Negation to finish up the game. This is gonna get buffed up by that. This is fine. This is fine. I guess we should just kill this one then, right? Might as well. So this is gonna be 8 damage. Because the opponent has Fearsome Blocker, so we might as well just take. This is gonna be 8 damage, so it's not lethal just yet. I don't think we commit for the lethal, by the way. I think we just say okay and leave the opponent at 1. I don't want to tap out of Battle Negation, so I think we leave the opponent at 1. If the opponent goes like this, then we go for it, because that means that the opponent taps out of Homecoming. Okay, I'm pressing okay. Because we're going to trigger this Warlord's Horde very quickly. It's very obvious what the opponent is going for, right? So we're going to trigger this Warlord's Horde really, really quickly, which will allow us to resummon the Pantheon. Because we can just continue transferring the equipment over and over again. Actually, I might want to have the Horaci, right? Yeah, so I guess we go here. Like, if the opponent tries to recall, I'm chilling. Opponent doesn't even have a leveled up Lee Sin yet, so Pantheon's still gonna survive against most things. But we're gonna trigger the Warlord's Horde by just recycling the equipment every single turn. And the opponent still doesn't have a Nami leveled up either, unless they have a Shelly now. So they need to have a Shelly to level up the Nami. And even if they have a leveled up Nami, the Shelly's 5 mana, I don't think that's gonna be enough. Don't think that's gonna be enough. Sure. Sure. You can kill this. Again, I just want to... I'm gonna summon another one. We have the deny for the... They might just kill us, though. That's 18. So if they have 2 more spells... If they have another 1-cost spell... And then they also have deny as a backup... They just win the game. So if they have deny as a backup, they just win the game now? That's awesome. So maybe I should have gone for the lethal last turn. Forced it out. Yeah, I mean, if they have it, they have it. Can't do anything about it. If they have it, they have it. Has to be exactly denied. Now, if I remember correctly, the 0-cost copy stays for longer than just 1 turn, so I can bring Pantheon back. We also lose to another buff. Oh, never mind. All right, we're chilling. We're chilling then. So we can go here. That gives us the Pantheon. We'll play the Pantheon next turn. We can actually play the Solani as well. So we can play the Solani and we can play the Pantheon. Because the Solani gives me another Overwhelm attacker that the opponent has to deal with. I want this Pantheon to get Spell Shield. So if we play Solani, that's 6 mana. Maybe we don't have to anymore. Because we ended up with the Absolver. Absolver is 4. Solani's kind of tempting though. Because the problem is that if we play Solani, we're not triggering another keyword, right? So I think we actually go... I think we go Bloodletters here. We play the Absolver mana. We play the Pantheon. That's going to have 8 keywords now. This gives us enough mana. We don't get the Spell Shield, unfortunately. We don't get the Spell Shield. Ah, that's so annoying. I was hoping I could get the Spell Shield. I mean, we still have the Absolver, which is not bad. Ah, we don't get the Spell Shield. So we lose to the Homecoming. We have the Absolver. Right? They need to deal with the Pantheon. So I don't think we actually need to buff the Pantheon. I think we go like this. So I don't think we actually need to buff the Pantheon. Opponent's gonna have to have double. I guess they could have the stun, concussive palm plus the stun plus the recall. I really went to 8 keywords so that I could get the Spell Shield. So now without having the Spell Shield, I don't think we win anymore. Without the Spell Shield, I don't know if we win anymore. But they didn't, I mean, they didn't have Deny last turn, so what could they have in their hand? They could be playing around us having the second Rider Negation, even though we only played 1. This guy still has Overwhelm, right? So he has, yeah, this the Homecoming. So this is the Homecoming that we talked about. The Absolver ended up being a great draw. Yeah, I guess we just go here. If the opponent has a second Homecoming, we lose the game. Or if they have a stun. We can't beat it. Opponent even did us the favor. That doesn't matter because you recall that unit. So that's not gonna matter because you did us the favor of recalling that unit. So because the opponent recalled that unit, it's pushing the full 9 damage. Unless if they denied it, yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, so we got a little bit lucky that the opponent didn't have 2 outs, right? We also got unlucky that we didn't get the Spell Shield though, so it kind of balanced out. So, GG's. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Pirate Aggro. So, we do have a lot of early units. Like, this is an amazing hand. This is an amazing hand in this matchup. Ah. Huh. Alright. I'm gonna keep this whole hand. The downside is that we're not gonna be able to trigger... We're not gonna really be able to trigger the Pantheon level up until... I guess next turn, like turn 3. But after that, we'll have the Shapestone and we have Pale Cascade to kind of protect ourselves. This unit is going to become a really big issue for the opponent to deal with. If the opponent doesn't get anything that has more than 2 health, we can actually attack with the Akshan. Cool. That quick attack could be annoying. And by cool, I mean like actually super annoying. Because I guess this can get bigger though, right? We can make this bigger with a Pale Cascade. Fearsome? We might have to sacrifice Akshan here. Because, I mean, I guess we can go... Because we can go Shapestone and Pale Cascade, and this will be big enough to block those. So we can go here. And then go here, and we can get rid of 2 other units. I think I'm okay like this. We have another Pale Cascade that we can put on the Saga Seeker. We bounce back both of the equipment. This card, as annoying as it is not going to be like a big deal. The problem is that we cannot trigger... We really can... I mean, I guess we can Pale Cascade. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we do this now, right? I guess we go for the Wandering Shepherd here. Yes. I think it has to be like this. I need to have this as a blocker. I can't afford to lose that blocker. So I can't afford to lose this blocker here. This gives him an additional health, so let's just attack right now in case that the opponent plays the Swarmwort Amulet on the sap. So let's just go ahead and push this 7 damage while we have the chance. Forsaken by Kai doesn't need to happen right now. Right? Forsaken by Kai doesn't need to happen right now. We can play a next turn so that we have like a... we're able to trigger the Pale Cascade. Sermon. Let's not wait for us to beat the Sermon here, right? So I guess we go here. What if we just play... What if we just play Pantheon? What if we just play Pantheon? How funny would that be? I like the Pantheon, to be honest. It means that the opponent cannot attack except for the sap. They're actually gonna still attack. Interesting. We still have blockers for everything. I guess we don't have blockers for the 3 health units. We could technically stun the sap. And that will protect a lot of damage. And then we have blockers for everything. All we're doing is taking 3. But I want to trigger the Fader here instead. I want to trigger the Fader here instead. So I need to be able to do one of my Tuco spells. I cannot do anything else. Because I'm trying to see if I can just, like, kill them. Like, raise them down. I don't know if that's realistic, though. I think it has to be the Shield Bolt. I think it has to be the Shield Bolt. We go here. We block here, and we're chilling. I guess actually it would have been less damage if we stun one of the 3 units. It would have been less. We took an extra damage as if we stun one of the other units, right? Because if we stun one of the other units, we're only taking 2 here instead of 3. We're also gonna block this one, because the opponent could easily have Agna Akaboros to buff this up even higher. Let's go here. We get the second action, and we got the Desert Duel. Does the second action ever make sense here? It's another blocker. Desert Duel feels really good, though, about killing most of their stuff. Let's go second action. That lets me level up action. We need one more card. We can always put the Overwhelm on the action as well. So that we can push the damage that I've been talking about, right? So that we can go... Oh, that's a nice draw, too. So we can go action here. If opponent has a second Red Tide Sermon, that's a little bit annoying. Because he can kill the action. We have the Pale Cascade to beat the second Sermon on the Pantheon. And then we can always bring the Pantheon back with the Headless Resurrection. Well, that's not true either, because Pantheon is not leveled up yet. So it will bring back the action. Oh, no, because... Yeah, it will bring back the action instead of the Pantheon. Yeah, so opponent's actually going to go ahead and commit the Pantheon kill. Alright, so now we can just go here then. Just push this damage. It's going to be 2. We know that the opponent has a Fervor or a Make It Rain. So we know that the opponent has a Fervor or a Make It Rain. Pantheon is going to level up next turn. And if we get the Elusive, we're chilling. I kind of like the second Pantheon, but I also like the Rana Negation. Because I might need to just be able to stop the opponent from having like a Decimate, right? So I probably have to stop the opponent from having a Decimate. So we can Pale Cascade here. Because if the Pantheon gets elusive, it's always gonna die no matter what. So I like this Pale Cascade here. Just trigger the Faded, level up the Pantheon. If we get elusive, it's still gonna die to the sap. We do get the elusive. No, never mind, because I have the extra life, right? So I have the extra life there, so that's not true. And then now we can actually bring back Pantheon with the Healer's Resurrection, and this should be game, right? We have Fury elusive. Yeah, nice. Okay, so that should be game. With the Rata Negation as a backup, I don't see how the opponent beats us anymore. We have double Overwhelm unit. One of this is elusive and Overwhelm. Do we let them kill this Pantheon? I guess not, right? Because this Pantheon is very big because we have triggered Faded on the Pantheon multiple times, right? So we will lose all the buff from that Pantheon. But at the same time, I don't think this is the place where we Rata Negate. So at the same time, I don't think that this is where we actually do the Rata Negation. So I'm gonna start here first.
You like it? I mean, shut up and fight.
Because what I want to do is that I want to play the Healer's Resurrection next turn if we have the potential of triggering the action. Because we can actually potentially bring double... We can potentially bring double Pantheon back here. So like we can do Desert Duel and still have mana for both Rata Negation and this. Yeah, so we can go here first, right? So... I guess let's go... Let's go here. And now we can bring both. We can bring two Pantheons back. And we have 6 keywords that are going to come down with the Pantheon. Wow. We can even give a Spell Shield if we wanted to instead of bringing a second Pantheon. I guess we just do the Spell Shield. So we have the Rata Negation, right? So I think we just do the Spell Shield. I guess let's go here first. Because this action is going to be pretty strong as well. And then we have Rata Negation. That's why we predicted to the Rata Negation, right? So that we could play around the burn. So we literally predicted the Rata Negation so that we could play around the burn. There we go. And we win the game. So we let the Decimate go, but we were not going to let that Fervor go. If we didn't predict into the Rata Negation, I think we would have been in a lot more trouble. D9 is very underrated against like burn because you saw how many, like, it looks like their hand was full of burn instead of units, so we were able to outplay them that way. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Veigar Trundle. Okay, so we go right away against the control deck that we showcased yesterday. I like this hand. I like this hand a lot. Maybe not the 2 Mountain Goats though, but I like the 1 Bloodletters and the Saga Seeker because we can play Saga Seeker and play the Bloodletters on it right away. Although, might be better... Because if we play the Bloodletters now, we still don't have a way to trigger Faded on the next turn, right? The problem is that if we don't buff this up at the moment... So if we don't buff this up now, the opponent has a good chance of just doing Avalanche next turn and kind of punishing us that way. So I think we have to go like this. We have to go like this. We're going to have to miss the Faded trigger, right? The Pantheon level up for another turn. But I don't think there's a ton that I can do about it. I kind of want to go Mountain Goat. So I want to go Mountain Goat so that we can trigger the Mountain Goat in the open attack and not have to play around an Avalanche. Because I think I need to level up Pantheon. I need to level up Pantheon and I don't see how I do that if the opponent gets Avalanche. We can Ruthless Predator and just save the gem for next turn. But if we're going to go for the Ruthless Predator, I mean, we might as well do the Vagabond. But if we do the Vagabond, then again, the Avalanche is still a problem. Let's go Vagabond. Let's go Vagabond here. We'll go for the Ruthless Predator. Because we can buff this up and then pull this with the Mountain Goat. And that way we don't have to worry about like Avalanche or Ravine anymore. Opponent only has... I guess opponent could have like a Veigar here. So that's another reason for us to develop first. It looks like they're going for the Veigar play. So what the opponent is telling me is that they're going for the Veigar. So I'm going to just go ahead and do this now then. just trade the Mountain Gold. This is still pushing 9 damage. So even if the opponent does get Veigar here and does get to work of the darkness, it's still kind of better for us to do it this way. We can always just go to Gem. Yeah, so this is the Veigar. It's the Veigar. We can play the Gem to progress the Pantheon level up. We have the Rite of Negation now, which is going to be really good against Abomination. Yeah, let's go here. And let's just go here. I want to trigger this as soon as we can. Opponent party doesn't want to do darkness yet, by the way. Because they usually want to save the darkness until later. Unfortunately, we don't have a way to trigger Faded next turn or the Pantheon level up. Unless we top deck something here. That's a good top deck. That's a very good top deck. Because we can bounce back the Bloodletters, allowing us to have another trigger for a future turn. Pot of Pain or Pan of Pain? Which one do I prefer? You know, I don't hate the tough. I don't hate the tough. It's also presenting a little bit more damage. So I like doing it this way because, again, we can always play the Bloodletter next turn to be able to actually level up the Pantheon. Or we could even do it this turn and just play the Sandstone Charger and just go for like a big attack. Is that better? Since we have Rite of Negation as a backup? We could technically do the Bloodletters this turn and just have a big attack.
The elements bind.
Ooh, not against the Itstali though. Not against the Itstali. So unfortunately we won't be able to really do much here. Because opponent just blocks with the Tavern Keeper. The Itstali is going to be a problem. This darkness is also a 4, so anywhere that we put the Bloodletters is going to die. If we just attack... What if we go like this? What if we go like this? We trigger the Sandstone Charger and we use the Quicksand to remove the lifesteal. I need to put pressure on them. They can block here, they can block here, so we're only going to push. This is still going to be 5 plus... Yeah, I kind of like this play. And we just Quicksand to remove the lifesteal. And we can Quicksand the Tavern Keeper and the Itstali. I guess it's actually better to just Quicksand the Itstali only, since the opponent's going to block here with the Tavern Keeper. This is 14, so they have to block. They have to block. They're going to think that they're going to get back to lifesteal. Opponent's going to actually give me the equipment back, which is actually a mistake. We're going to go here. Opponent goes down to 3. They're going to have to open attack next turn to be able to actually heal with the Itstali. So they will go back up to 7, but at least they're not getting twice the hit with the Itstali, which they would have done anyways. They also don't get the value here from the darkness, so that's pretty nice for us. The downside is that because we silenced the Itstali, the Shepherd didn't die, so we actually don't have a way to trigger the Faded this time. Having access to this Rite of Negation is going to be amazing. And actually, now that we have the Merciless Hunter as well, it means that we can pull the Itstali to the end if for some reason the opponent doesn't block with the Itstali this turn. So let's kind of see how this goes. I think the Rite of Negation is going to be what wins us the game. Opponent's already at 3. If they don't attack with Itstali right now, they're just going to get punished by the Merciless Hunter next turn. If they do this, it still works out for us because we can just transfer the Pan of Pain somewhere else. I don't think this is where we do the Rite of Negation. Second Itstali is a problem though. Second Itstali is a problem. Unless we just play the Pantheon here. I guess we just play the Pantheon here. This lets me have a barrier unit, right? That can survive, that can negate the lifesteal. So this allows me to have a barrier unit that can negate the lifesteal. We can always also level up Pantheon, by the way, by targeting one of our own units with Rite of Negation. But we probably don't want to do that because the opponent has a lot of ways to remove our units. So it's a little bit awkward. Opponent could commit the darkness right now. But if they commit in any one of these two units, yeah, they don't want to commit it in any of these two units, right? So now that they tap out of almost everything, I think we can easily just go for the Merciless Hunter now. Go here. This allows me to pull this Sentinel all the way to the end and attack with everything else. Now, what we want to do is that we want to put this Merciless Hunter first, because the only blocker that he has there is the Veigar, right? I guess we can actually put Pantheon first, to be honest, because of the Overwhelm. And we go like this, because opponent wants to block this card. Now we also have Pale Cascade, by the way, so we don't need... I guess we can just Pale Cascade first. Yeah, let's just Pale Cascade first. We have Random Negation, so we don't actually need to draw. Let's Pale Cascade first and see what keywords we get. And that, because that could change the way that we order things, right? Like if we get Quick Attack and Challenger, for example, okay, we get Quick Attack, but we also have Elusive and Spell Shield. So yeah, so this is game winning here, right? Yeah, this is game winning here. We pull the lifesteal all the way to the end. The Pantheon is attacking first with Elusive and Spell Shield, so the opponent cannot block with the Sentinel. They will have to block the Sentinel, the Merciless Hunter with the Sentinel, and then have to block the Veigar with the on the Saga Seeker. Spell Shield and Random Negation means that this should be game. Elusive ended up being really good. Elusive ended up being really good, but even Quick Attack was enough, because Quick Attack also denies the lifesteal. So it could have been Elusive, it could have been Quick Attack. We ended up getting both, so I'm not complaining. Even the Impact ends up being pretty nice, to be honest. And the Spell Shield was just kind of icing on the cake. And there we go. GG's. The double install, I think opponent should have actually... I guess opponent couldn't attack with the install last time because we had the barrier on the Pantheon. I think them using up their darkness ended up being a little bit greedy, but I guess they wanted to just level up that... advance that Veigar level up, you know, by 10. So I don't blame them either, but GG's. In this matchup, we'll be going up against GP Sejuani. It's a little bit of an annoying matchup. They just have so much stuff, right? They just have so much stuff. I usually like keeping the Bloodletters, but not when we don't have any units, right? I think we're gonna have to kick it. We're gonna have to kick it. We didn't have any units, so I don't think it was worth it to keep it. The downside here now with the Bakai is that we're losing to a parley and allowing the opponent to trigger their plunder in turn 1. So I actually think we have to just skip, right? We just have to pass. Because remember, oh yeah, we have to just pass. We have to just pass because the opponent can easily just play parley on turn 1 to kill the Bakai. I wish I had the Bloodletters now, because now we got the action, right? So Bloodletters with action on the field is amazing. If I can delay them 1 turn from triggering their plunder, that's always nice, right? The downside here is that we probably have to play... Yeah, see? They play the parley anyways because they want to trigger the plunder. We can correctly play around it. We don't get the Bloodletters. I don't hate the second action, though. I don't hate the second action. Because it gives me access to the action spell, Grappling Hook, which is actually going to be pretty crucial. The problem is that we don't have any spells to be able to trigger our Pantheon level up. So we're going to be really far behind on Pantheon. Like, really far behind. I like the pass. I like the pass. If the opponent doesn't play Make It Rain right now, they get punished. I don't want to play the Lodestone until after we had the landmark on the field. It's a little bit greedy on my part because now Make It Rain does kill the Bakai. But the pass from the opponent last turn meant that they... Okay, wow. Okay, that's not... that is not what I expected. Alright, yeah, we just go here. That triggers our Pantheon. We get to buff up our action even more. The reason I did it on this one instead of the other way is because once this dies, I get the equipment back and I can replay it next turn to advance the palace even more. If we play the Lodestone in the action instead, even though we're doing the same thing where the Bakai is going to be a 3-2, it means that the weapon gets stuck in the action until the end of the game, right? So we don't particularly want that. We got the Bloodletters too. So we got the Bloodletters as well now. So this is looking pretty bad for the opponent.
I mean, shut up and fight.
They need to have one more unit. Do we let them have it, or do we just play the lowstone right now? Let's play the lowstone right now. Just in case that they can pass back. Again, our goal here is to trigger the Warlord's Palace and level up Akshan as soon as possible. With 4 mana, they don't have anything. I guess, yeah, I mean, because I'm not going to block with Akshan anymore, right? So I'm not going to block with Akshan anymore. Maybe we do. Maybe we actually do block with Akshan. We have a second Akshan. So what's the matter with blocking with Akshan? Yeah, let's block with Akshan. Why not? That way we prevent some damage, because I'm gonna need to stall. I'm gonna need to stall long enough to have our Pantheon be really big. I don't want to die to like random leveled up GP later on in the game. So don't think it's actually a deal. Now, there's one problem here. Break-Tide Sermon. Right? Which is why I like the Rhino Negation, although we're not going to be able to stop it this turn. But I like the Rhino Negation. I think the Rhino Negation is a great out. By playing Akshan now, after everything, now we have the Warlord's Whore. And now we can trade the Bloodletters. Yeah, that's the Break-Tide Sermon that we talked about. Unfortunately, right, we lost the action. But we can just go here. And then play the lodestone again. This effectively heals our Vagabond. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough mana for the Rhino Negation that turn, right? Giving us a blocker for the Tentacle. I guess opponent could have the Iron Akaboros. They still gotta get a trigger here because of the Shell Shocker. So that's a little bit. Maybe we actually shouldn't have summoned Akshan last time. But it feels so good to just proc this, right? Probably feels better to just proc this as soon as possible. Because we're gonna be able to just literally proc this by next turn. The problem is the level of Sejuani though. So the level of Sejuani is going to be a big problem for us to deal with. Okay. Alright. Why don't we just play Pantheon out right now? We have a blocker for the Gangplank, right? With the Vagabond. We can play the Bloodletters on the Pantheon, allowing us to trigger the Pantheon level up and the Faded. And then we do the same thing next turn with the second Bloodletters, letting us level up Pantheon. Opponent could easily have Sejuani though, which will freeze our Pantheon, which is a little bit annoying. Alright. I'll take the Gangplank. There's no 1-mana spell that they have that can beat this. Make it rainy stew. Warning shot doesn't level up the Gangplank. I'll take a free Gangplank. I'm so confused about this attack. Yeah, I'll take a free Gangplank any day. Right, so we trigger the Fader here. Cool. Again, we're going to trigger that Warlord's Whore very, very quickly. Which is what I like. We're going to have the Red-Tide Sermon. Pantheon's going to level up. And we're going to have a second Pantheon, if anything. We can even pull the Powder Keg to be able to push the overwhelm damage. It has to be Sejuani. So it has to be Sejuani. It has to be Sejuani exactly for us to be in trouble. Because I think our Pantheon is going to get big enough that we can beat a second Gangplank. And we also have other ways to deal with a second Gangplank, right? Orasi is going to be interesting as well because she's going to be able to give a Spell Shield. But I mean, we can get Spell Shield anyways from this, right? Question here is, let's start here. I don't want the opponent to know that I have the second Bloodletters just yet. So let's start here first. Because this, oh, we get the Elusive as well. The Spell Shield and Lifesteal. Okay, so opponent needs to have Sejuani. And we also, yeah, the lifesteal is huge. The lifesteal plus the elusive is huge. Opponent's gonna have to have Sejuani right now. Otherwise, we just won this game because of the elusive hit. The rest of the keywords, Fury, Tough, Regen, don't really matter. But lifesteal and elusive is enough to win us the game. And our Pantheon is big enough because we've been triggering Faded on them for the past couple of turns. So he ends up working out really well. We should still probably pull that powder keg. Question is, do I want to trigger this now? So my thought is that if the opponent has Sejuani and they wait to do it now, it's gonna be a problem. But if they play Sejuani, we can play the Absolver's Resurrection and potentially be able to kill it. But we don't have enough value to be able to, because the strongest unit that died for us was the Vagabond. This gives me Spell Shield, but the Spell Shield doesn't stop the Sejuani. So what if we actually going for the draw? What if we're actually going for the draw, considering we have a second Pantheon? The draw could potentially give me more outs against what the opponent wants to do. Stops me from running out of resources. Because again, the Spell Shield is not doing much. I mean, it is giving us +2/+2, but it's not doing a lot in this matchup specifically. So because we have Overwhelm, we can go ahead and push this. If the opponent doesn't trigger anything, we actually just get the Fury proc. And we can always get Spell Shield with the Orasi next turn, so I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah, so if the opponent doesn't actually commit and make it rain here, we actually get the Fury proc, funnily enough. We get to lifesteal all the way to 17, which makes me feel like we just won this game. Let's see. The opponent is gonna go for the warning shot. Denying our Fury trigger. Also levels up both champions, right? And Nakamura, okay, so they're drawing. So that tells me that the opponent's drawing. I really like the draw. Just have more answers. Just have more general answers for anything that the opponent wants to do. We can go here. We can play Bloodletters on the Saga Seeker. We can always swap it out with the Lodestone if we wanted to next turn. Let's go ahead and do the Mountain Go. TP gets punished by the Pantheon. Ball Shield. Nothing can kill this. Literally nothing can kill this, right? Do we care about the Pantheon attack? I mean that Gangplank attack? What if we actually don't care about that Gangplank attack? Like, what if we just go like this? What if we just go like this and tell the opponent, sure, go ahead, attack us. This guy has 7 health, so he can actually block the Gangplank and lifesteal all the way back to full. Ashar? The Ashar is not doing much either. I guess the opponent is trying to make the Pantheon a little bit weaker. But we can always put the Lodestone and he's still the same position. So we can always just transfer the Lodestone and Pantheon, the Pantheon goes up to 7 HP and the opponent literally cannot do anything. Let's go ahead and put the Overwhelm here because why not? We just win in the open. Yeah. We just went on the open. The elusive was a great keyword, and opponent didn't end up not getting Sejuani, but they did get 2 Gangplanks, so it's not like they completely low roll either. So GG's. Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those games. Think we had a lot of fun ones there. That game against Ionia was kind of crazy. Ended up winning because of that clutch Absolver. GP Sejuani is always a struggle, always trying to play around cards, but we got a little bit lucky that I didn't have Sejuani. Otherwise, I think it would have slowed us down a lot. And those clutch predictions just to get the deny against Pirate Aggro. That's what I'm talking about, how important the predicts are for Bakai and from the Warlord's Palace. Like, those predictions are so crucial. But enough about those games. Let's talk about some mulligan tips here. So, in my suggestion, the cards that you're going for in your mulligan are Bakai, Saga Seeker, Akshan, and Bloodletters. Those are the 4 cards that you want to see in your mulligan. Especially Akshan. Akshan is probably the most important one, but the Forsaken Bakai is not so bad either. If you're able to get like a combination of, let's say, 2 of these, then I think you end up being in a good spot. You only want to keep the Bloodletters if you already have one of these 3 in your hand, I think, right? So if you have the Bakai, the Saga Seeker, the Akshan. Actually, probably only really when you have the Saga Seeker or the Akshan, because that will allow you to trigger the Akshan Warlord's Palace and also trigger the Faded. So I will start with just that early presence and kind of go from there. The Mountain Goat is good to keep in certain matchups. Like if you're going against aggro and you need early blockers, I don't hate keeping the Mountain Goat because he also gives us a gem that can trigger the Pantheon level up. But most of the times, I'd rather just have Akshan, Bakai, and Saga Seeker to start off the game. Pantheon is also interesting. I will only keep Pantheon if I already have a really good hand to start with. Like if I have Akshan plus Bloodletters, then that's what I would keep Pantheon. Otherwise, I'd rather try to get other stuff and get Pantheon later into the game. So it's going to be matchup dependent. But for the most part, you're going for your early units here so that you can try to get some value, trying to keep at least an equipment so that you can start triggering the Pantheon level up and kind of go from there. As always, if you like our content and you like this video, please make sure to like it below and subscribe to us. We post a lot of videos every single day. You can also find us on Twitch at Sirturmund, where we stream 2 to 3 times a week. And you can also find us on Discord and Twitter. The links to those are both in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again tomorrow.